Hi, I am Osman. I am an energy healer on a master level with telepathic capabilities. I'm also specializing in critical care recovery and terminal illnesses, as well as a host of other physiological, psychological, and spiritual ailments. Um, I'm also an advanced level yoga and meditation teacher. Visit my website yogawellness786.com for more information. Please remember, my therapies are all natural based and not a replacement for medical treatment. How long does it take to reach the complete evolution or development of one's consciousness to the maximum level as a human? So it is good that this question includes the word as a human, or what I could say in my answer is within the range of human uh, frequency um, awareness, right? Because the consciousness that can be developed can exceed, and usually does exceed, in the very higher, very advanced levels, the ambit of the human construct, right? So you as a person is not going to feel now this is a human experience and now this is now superior to the human experience. You just find yourself increasing in awareness and higher levels, right? As you're progressing up the ladder, your experience for each major frequency level or major stage, you will feel the difference, right? You will experience the difference as it evolves and develops, and it is related to the major energy centers along the spinal cord, the seven major energy centers. So the seventh one being slightly above the crown of the head, all right? And the default or main energy center being at the perineum or just below the base of the spine, or at the base of the spine in that region, right? So it is said to be the base energy level, or a home base, is a perineum area, right? It's the point between your private organs and your anus. That's the point of the prime energy center or the base energy center. And below that energy center, lower down into your limbs, in that region, is another seven energy centers, right? In small gradations, and the ones above are in bigger gradations, where the first one is the base called the Muladhara, the second one is the sacral chakra, third one is the solar plexus area along the spine, and the next one is the heart chakra, then the throat chakra, and then the third eye chakra, and the crown, the one slightly above the crown of your head, also considered the crown chakra, but it's slightly above the crown of your head. So how long does it take to develop this? It varies between individual to individual depending on the amount of blockages or work that needs to be done in order to progress to the next level. Sometimes a person's teacher may break the majority of all the obstacles so that the aspirant awakens and raises his awareness right to the maximum level in a short space of time, within, let's say, a few months to 2 years, right? That's considered a short space of time. So that is possible if your teacher has broken most of the major obstacles along the way for the progression of the raising of the energy. So it rises up like an energy rising up the spine through the central core of your spine, goes up, up, up till it reaches the seventh level, right? And passing each level, it like lights up that frequency, and you feel like a major change in what you can see around you. So the world that you see around you suddenly will disappear, and another world appears, a higher frequency on each frequency level. So it's like changing the channels of the television, right? So, but typically, if depending on the amount of practice that one performs, let's say he practices an average of an hour a day, twice a week, I mean, twice a day. So, normally they will advise you and teach you to practice a minimum once you are initiated into the advanced level by your teacher, to practice a minimum of an hour a day, twice a day, right? And to have some type of significant increase in your progress. And that usually is going to take you approximately about 50 years to progress to the highest level, right? And if you start to engage more time, spending, let's say, depending on the time of day you are meditating, let's say typically for advanced aspirants, it's recommended between 3 a.m. and 7 a.m., right? 4 hours a day. Then this should typically take you about 20 years to develop, to the highest level. And if you, are intensifying it to around 8 hours a day, then it should typically take you, around 10 years or so to reach the advanced level. And not necessarily, so it must, you have to understand that it varies from individual to individual depending on his complexity. So each one has got a different range of complexity, that because as you're proceeding to each level, to proceed to the next level, it becomes a bit more difficult or tougher or easier depending on each individual, and depending on how much of blockages are there, right? So they in it is going to vary so greatly. And in my experience, I found some very advanced masters who are spending, for example, 8 hours a day, but also using a shortcut to uh, we'll say exponentially increase the speed of development by more than 10 or 100 times, right? And it took that person around 8 years, 10 years to reach the maximum, but he spent 8 hours a day, right, meditating. And he had a normal job, and he used to work for the government. And and then he just got into meditation for about 8 hours a day, and he had a little bit of he had some sleep, and then he went to work, and he continued as a normal working class person for about 10 years. So that using a shortcut method took him 10 years. So it could mean that the average person could easily, on the advanced level, spending 10 hours a day, can also take maybe 40, 50 years to reach the highest level. So, but typically, people who's practicing this, not all, very few reach the highest level. And it is the rare few who will say were able to have the gift of advancement and the obstacles removed by his teacher, or himself, being in a way constructed that his pathway was easier. So it's difficult to really precisely put a finger on the exact amount of time, but this is just an average estimate. Hope that doesn't confuse you more. And let me just try to summarize that once you are initiated into the advanced level, right? Consider another 10 years to make some decent progress, and from then onwards, let's say every year, try to ascertain your progress, right? Or every month, or every 3 months, or so, every 90 days, and seek the help of someone who is advanced, who can help you in understanding if your rate of progress is fast enough, or what methods you could use to speed it up. Take care always.